Bonjour, I am Sandrine. Together, we will learn about the infinite quantum and galactic realms so we can embody more of our multidimensionality and accelerate our ascension.
I know that a lot of you are channels already. So the purpose of this is to give you tools that are going to allow you to start opening up your channel even more. So you can channel with more precision and possibly start consciously channeling star races of elementals or divine aspects that you haven't had access to. So when we talk about channeling, we actually talk about consciously shifting the mind to be able to achieve a higher level of consciousness. So if we really think about that for a moment, it's a conscious action and it starts with the mind. So if you think of yourself when you're in a state of stress or anxiety or agitation or sadness or depression, you have felt that the channel is not really there, right? We are not very much able to connect with our soul. We don't feel intuitive. We don't feel connected to our star races either because we are basically in the process of healing. We are in the process of purging, of transmuting lower frequency, lower density. So our mind, our consciousness is reduced. We are processing. We are in the lower fractal of our fractal frequency. So when we know that the purpose of we access channeling by consciously shifting our mind, it already gives us the tools that we can use to be able to consciously shift the mind. All of you already have these tools. These tools are meditation, where we silence the mind first, where we really create this like kind of a space in the head. So that's really, it comes from meditation, but it also comes from breath work. So it can be any time of breath work. I practice personally Ujjayi Pranayama. If you have watched some of the pre-work on the pineal gland recording, you will know more of that technique. If you're a yogi as well, you know of Ujjayi Pranayama, and the science behind it is absolutely mind-blowing. So there is also breath work where it's more purging, like Shakti breath work, for example. Then another great way to shift our mind, to be able to open up our consciousness, is through practicing sports. We can do yoga, but we can also run. Like when I run, I consciously shift my mind because I'm in the process, like you constantly shift the frequency, like swimming in the sea, doing any kind of sport, actually shift the mind, the process there. And there is music. And music is interesting because if we, for example, feel down, if we feel that we need more energy, we can put some upbeat music and then we shift consciously, right? We shift and we are in a state where we are happier and we feel more connected. So that's a great way to actually consciously shift from one state of being in our mind to another higher state of consciousness. Then there is also the use of music with earphones on, where we listen to brainwave and solfeggio frequency, which is one of the fastest tools for me to access my channel. So when I channel, very often I do my meditation, but I also have a certain brainwave frequency and they directly take me there. So I directly feel like instantly the shift in my brain. It's like the locks are going like choo, 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 and then the channel is open. So when you know that you have these tools, you can already observe in your life what you use. And when you use them, you can consciously use them with even greater precision by observing the state of your mind as before, as you enter the practice of breathing, the practice of running, or any kind of practice that you do to consciously shift your mind. Observe before, and when you do it, observe if you are ruminating, like in meditations, it happens a lot, like ruminating thoughts. When we run, sometimes it's like processing. So just find more and more of your breath, find more and more of your presence, set the intention. The greater pathway of actually exercising is to consciously shift my consciousness. So when you finish that practice using one of these tools, then you can observe that there is more space. For me, the better way to explain it is that there is more space in the body. And this space really relates also to this knowledge that we have about the fractal and its center. When we are really anchored at the center point of our fractal, the center point kind of increases in frequency. We increase presence, we increase inner peace, we have more space. More about that is going to come. That's going to be about the architecture of channeling. So from these tools, then we start receiving different results. And here it's interesting because it's interesting for each and every one of us to observe why we want to channel, what is the purpose of channeling, and what we are already doing in terms of channeling. So the first one that comes into mind that the most talked about is actually conscious channeling. So basically you go into an alternate state of consciousness after using one of these tools. Often it's meditation, because let's say, for example, regarding the two, like you go for a run, so you have a different state of consciousness. But then if you really want to start accessing a certain a friend or certain data, then it's good to sit down in meditation, so there's more information, right? Like for example, when I run, I start having a lot of download, but to be able to be deep, to go deeper, then I will sit down and meditate. So when I receive all of that, then I can say, okay, so now I'm doing some conscious channeling. So basically I'm in conversation, with the being that's next to me, and we chat and I ask questions and they give me information. So that's conscious channeling. Conscious channeling is easily accessible to anyone, and especially for you, like you're all doing it already. So that's conscious channeling. Then there is trance channeling. So there you welcome the being into your physical body. So I'm going to talk more about that later. There is also art. Art is actually also a way to channel. So artists, even if they don't do it consciously, sometimes it's like they go in actually an alternate state of consciousness and they create their art. So it can be visual, like painting, but it can also be creating beautiful music. Like artists, they create from channeling most of the time. When you feel that the music is coded, the art is coded, it's because the artist was himself or herself in this alternate state of consciousness, which allowed him to channel, different frequencies and place that into the art. Like for example, the jewelry I'm wearing was created by my mentor and Alex mentor Sundari, and it's channeled jewelry, and it's created from my Akashic record. It's coded with my Akashic record. So that this is kind of channeled art. And this is one of the application. How do we apply our channel? Do we consciously connect to a star rays? Do we create a jewelry? Do we create music? There is also automatic writing, which is absolutely awesome. And there is light language. So a lot of us start speaking light language. So for that, we just open the mouth and then we allow ourselves to really go for it and listen to the sounds. And all of these different modalities of channeling, we can practice individually. So if for you there is one pathway that's really more calling you than the other, you can consciously shift your mind by using one of the tools, so like meditation or breath work or running or music. And then from there, when you are in this space, you take a pen and paper because you think, oh, like I really want to go into more like automatic writing. So you sit there, you are the human doing it. So like it's important to know, like for example, for me, I am not called or interested at all into doing channeled art, like it's not there at the moment. So I don't take anything to draw, to create jewelry or music or anything like that. It's simply not part of my coding and my interest at the moment. So when we start understanding the process of channeling, we can start taking more aligned actions to be able to open up this channel and to basically increase our vibrations. So the more we start increasing our vibrations constantly by using these tools that I have mentioned before, the more we can start increasing the frequencies of our fractal. We start, shifting to higher and higher level of frequencies. The more we consciously connect to this desire to channel and to simply be in that state of space, the more we live from that space constantly. Like I have reached a stage in my life where I'm nearly all the time in that space. So it means that I'm constantly channeling, I'm constantly in connection, in conversation. But for example, when the kids are there, when I go grocery shopping and so on, it's simply like my consciousness is not placed into receiving information because I'm doing my things, you know, I mean, I'm being in my 3D reality. But if there is information that needs to come, it's very easy for them to say something. It's very easy, like doing the grocery shopping, for example, doing any kind of shopping for clothes, if I'm not sure, you know, I simply hold it to me and I simply connect, is this aligned? And there's instant, yes, it is instant, no, not right now. And so when you are in this state of vibrations, more and more, you can sustain the frequencies that are going to allow you to be constantly in co-creation with your team, but constantly in connection with your soul as well. Because for me, the channel is like a pipe. To start with, it's narrow, it can be clogged, it's hard to find, and it's hard to run through. But the more we run water through it, the more we use it, the more we consciously access it, the bigger it gets, until eventually this pipe is basically present and clear all the time. So there's always water running. The water is always there. It's simply that I don't turn the tap on all the time if I'm, you know, hanging out in 3D reality, but there is still a little stream. It's like little drops are there. If I need to, it's kind of like, what is my channel saying about this? What is my channel saying about that? And then it's about just taking the aligned actions that are there. So if we think about the intuitive modes, we have 4 intuitive modes, you all know that. So there is clairsentience, basically it's like a goosebumps, the gut feeling, like this strong physical sensation of hot and cold, or attraction or repulsion. So clairsentience, if we think about our fractal, clairsentience is actually, so all intuitive modes are also part of this fractal frequency. Clairsentience would be the one that has the lower vibration, meaning that it's not low vibe at all, but it means that in terms of frequency, it's the one that has the lower vibration because it's actually linked to our physicality. So it's actually bound to certain levels of density. So this is, it's important for us to remove as much density as possible from the body by having, you know, like a clean diet and don't drink and take drugs and so on, like the whole shabam that you already know. So basically, like our vessel is pure, so we can receive clairsentience. It's also linked to lower chakra, bottom chakra, and to survival mode. So it's very important. We want to keep it, we want to cultivate it. It's mostly like clairsentience would be located into the outside, like the outside here. If we think that it's the center here, so it's kind of like the architecture of the intuitive mode. And then we have oscillating here, we have clairaudience and clairvoyance. So these also come through audition and vision. And then we have directly connecting here, that's claircognizance, and that's instant knowledge. So claircognizance is actually the intuitive mode that's the most directly connecting to channeling, because it's like it's there. We don't, it's just the flow is coming. So when this pipe is really nice and open, when we are in this conscious stage, it's just kind of like it goes, you know, like literally when you channel, when you do automatic writing, if you start to speaking light language, it's basically, it's open, you know, you can feel like the stream is there, like trance channeling, the stream is there. Like the cool thing is that when the channeling is present, then all of a sudden you might start having the goosebumps, which always, like, so for me, I would just have like a conversation. I'm on a call with a, you know, like a client doing a session or something like that, and I speak just like this, or even to you, and all of a sudden I have the goosebumps and I get very hot, and it's kind of a confirmation of my body that the code shared, the frequency shared is like, it's very potent, it's very present, because it's actually reaching all the way to my physical body. So it's not only staying in kind of the outside of me, I'm just not only hearing it or seeing. It's like what I'm saying is so high frequency, so profound that basically there is a physical shift happening. And this is so powerful. This is why trance channeling for me, I love it so much. It's because people receive that and they can feel it in their body, because the frequencies that I access, that we can all access through on channeling, they are so high frequency that they're going to go all the way down and they're going to shift all the way to molecular, cellular level, as we have learned before, you know, shifting our DNA already. So that is the power of channeling. The power of channeling is to change the structure of our physicality as well. And not only that, of course, you know, everything that goes, like the emotions, the mind, and, you know, our relationship and our 3D life and our access to the quantum. The more we reside at the center point of our fractal, the higher the frequency we access. So here it's, we're coming towards more of the architecture. Remember, the more we reside here, the center of our fractal, the more the circle here increases. So it means that basically we reside more and more into presence, in inner peace. We simply witness the oscillation of our humans with so much joy and curiosity. You know, it's like me with no hot water this morning. Like I was in such beautiful space. I was witnessing my human going like, fuck, I want hot water, for goodness sake. I had my cold swim this morning and I have to organize this. But I was witnessing that there was absolutely zero frequency shift happening in my being. There was no frustration, nothing like that. It was just coming and I was like, oh, and then straight away alchemization, because the center point is so present, the frequencies are so high that it instantly alchemizes and dissolves all frequencies that are slightly lower, that is state of pure presence. When we start increasing these frequencies, we start opening up this pipe more and more and more. So it becomes easier to become a super channel. So a super channel is someone who not only has access consciously or possibly trance channeling, but that's rare, like consciously channeling different star races, earth elementals and dragons. Basically, most of you are doing it. You connect with dragons, you connect with Arcturians, you connect with Palladians. But not only that, when you become a super channel, it means that you can also start channeling other frequencies that are not always so obvious. Like it's not always obvious that we can channel that. For example, money frequency. Money is a frequency, and we can start experiencing more and more connection with the money frequency. And when we experience conscious connection with the money frequency, we start shifting the money frequency at our level. So for me, money frequency vibrates at a very high level of frequency. Because I am a super channel, because I choose to be a super channel, it's like money is everywhere. Money is literally everywhere. Money created this jersey, money created my lipstick, all the houses, everything was created because money exists. So as soon as I start realizing that, is that how I am simply channeling that. It's on me, it's through me, it's coming to me, and it's all around me. I redistribute it. So we start being able to open up the center, this pipe, so consciously our frequencies vibrate so high that we are able to channel different frequencies like that. Can be healing. You know, like if you are a healer, for example, the frequencies that you're going to be able to channel simply through your words or your hands is going to be directly affecting the person, shifting the frequency of the person at a higher level. And we all do that, you know, to a certain extent, but being able to realize that is going to really change everything.
If you enjoy this, you will love Fractal Alchemy 5D Quantum University. Please visit my website sandrines.com for more information.